Hey, you're here today with Andra Carmina. Welcome. Today I come to you with a new 7-day series which is entitled 7 Days of PK, Heart-Opening Lessons from a Thai Cat. And I want to discuss the many lessons, but I'm only going to choose 7 of them over the course of the next week that I would like to address with you as far as what my cat has been able to teach me. PK recently passed away, and yesterday he would have been 1 year old. And over the course of the 4 months that we had together, he shared with me certain lessons that I probably wouldn't have otherwise learned or understood as well as I have, just because he's been around. And so I'll start today with lesson number 1, but before that I'll just give you a quick recap of how I got PK to begin with. So last year in September I had another cat, Oreo, and Oreo passed away unexpectedly. And if you remember, I had done a 1-week launch in her memory, and I raised money for a shelter that is located in Thailand called Soy Dog, and they do a lot of rescue missions for cats, for dogs. They fight the meat trade, all kinds of things. And so I gave the money there. I donated it from the readings that I had offered to people that were moved enough by my story about Oreo, which I will post in a link later. And I decided to give that to Soy Dog. And over time, I also thought, maybe in a few months I might be able to adopt another cat when I'm ready and I am over the grief and the loss of Oreo, because it had completely torn me to shreds. I've been fortunate enough to not have a lot of experience with death, and the few deaths that I have been through have been devastating, because they really they make you question not question, but maybe make you appreciate how fragile life can be and how temporary it is, and that, we take it for granted and we think, yeah, we'll have tomorrow, we'll have later, we'll have next year, we'll have whenever, but we don't, we don't always. And through Oreo and now through PK, I have come to that realization that I need to take action, and I had been waiting and kind of just making an impact, yeah, because I do have my clients, but not to the extent that I know that I'm able to, and to the extent that I want to make an impact in this world and be of influence. So death can wake you up to that fact, and it has been an incredible teacher for me in the last year, even though I'm not very fond of it. It's part of life. It's a natural part of life, and I just want to share my experiences with you and what I've learned through these past 2 instances of death in my life. And so after Oreo's passing, I had waited about, 2-3 months, and then I decided, you know what, I'm ready to adopt another cat. And so I went on the Soy Dog page, and I looked up all the cats that were there, and I came across Paracorn, which is, the long name for PK, which is the short name that I gave him. And I adopted him, but granted, he's in Thailand, right? So I'm like, okay, how am I going to get this cat to Canada? And they were kind enough to say that they were willing to do everything they could, find a flight volunteer, get a pet passport, do the, customs papers. Pretty much everything was handled by the shelter. And I waited up until February, which was probably like half a year later. It was a long wait. But PK showed up one day before Valentine's Day. And to me, that was a very big symbol of the message that he was meant to bring for me. That, Valentine's Day is a symbol of love and appreciation and gratitude and opening your heart. And to me, that's what PK did for me in showing up in my life. Yeah, so I've had him from Valentine's Day up until just a little bit ago, so a week ago. So 4 months, yeah. And in these 4 months, um, the first lesson that I wanted to address with you guys was that his presence and companionship were very healing to me. Yeah, so lesson number one is the healing of the heart. I thought I was ready and I thought I was healed, and I was like, it's fine, it's good, I'm okay, because I had been going through uh, the nth degree of hell in the last year or two in my life. So, and after Oreo's death, that was kind of like the last level for me, and I was like, I'm done with this. We need to not do this anymore in our life. And I took all the time that I needed to heal, to process, to explore the inner landscape of myself, my shadow, my wounds, my fears, everything. And in doing so, after, you know, maybe 6 to 9 months of doing that on and off, I was like, okay, I'm good. I got this. We're cool. Everything's fine. But in PK coming into my life, I realized that, there's always room for more. There's always room for more love, for more healing, for more uh, opening of the heart. And I think, especially with, what we see in the news, with, as I'm filming this today, yesterday, there were the mass shootings in Orlando, and other things. I think that the message is very important, that the healing of the heart is important, and through the healing of the heart, we are able to open our heart and to perceive everything that shows up in our life as tragedy as an opportunity for us to rise from a different space and to perceive it from a different space. Not through, of course, there's going to be anger and suffering and pain and feeling of injustice and unfairness, and that's all natural, right? We're obviously going to feel that, but we can see that we don't have to meet it in the same way. We don't have to meet it with aggression. We don't have to react to it in ways that are of a lower vibration, right? And we can keep our hearts open, and in doing so, we're sharing that it is possible for helpers to show up, for things to show up, for aid and understanding and compassion and hearts opening through these tragic instances, right? So PK's death for me was a tragic instance, but having his company around and having his presence and him being so loving and understanding helped me to open up my heart, yeah? And I think that we all need to open up our hearts a little bit more. We all need to bring companionship to each other, to bring more love to each other, to be more understanding to one another, to really have presence. Yes, I think one of the most challenging things for us right now is that we aren't present. We're running around, we're doing stuff, but we're never really there for ourselves, for each other. We're not really conscious, we're not really aware. And this presence of mind and heart are really important for us to really lead the life that we want to lead. And I found that to be the case for me too, because up until this point where I was like, I need to be present with myself, I need to do this work, I need to heal my heart, because I was becoming resentful towards the things and, things that happened to me, the people that I was blaming for the things that happened to me. And I was like, this is not who I am, this is not what I believe in, so why am I doing that, right? And so that's when I began this exploration and this inner journey through healing the deeper parts of myself that were obviously calling me to heal them. And PK was a big part of that, in me really being willing to go there, and to sit with things, to be present in the same way that he was present for me, right? And so he helped me through that process. Animals have always been a big part of my life, and I don't think I've ever not had animals in my life. I've always had pets. I always have cats, dogs, hamsters. I don't know. Ever since I was a kid, I've been surrounded by animals, always. And lessons come in all shapes, forms, sizes, and sometimes it's not a person, sometimes it's not an event, sometimes it's a furry little ball that weighs 7 pounds that can change your life. And so this is just a small introduction. I will go through 6 other lessons that will explain more in depth the impact that he had and how he showed up for me and helped me to see all these things throughout the process. And so even though you don't have a pet, I think that you can still identify with some of the concepts that I'm going to be talking about. And so I would ask that you stay tuned for the next few days. I will be coming up with videos and I will be sharing you more about my journey in discovering myself and what I think that can apply to anybody that is willing to show up for themselves, that is willing to be present, that is willing to heed the call of being greater and to healing this world, helping this world move along, raise the awareness of the people in it so that we can all be on course for what we're meant for while we're here.